Fred here, welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. In this episode, I will be doing an unboxing of my new HD camcorder, which was partially a Christmas gift from my wife. Thank you very much. The HDR-CX110. Over the last year, I've been using a Canon camcorder. It's the FS300. I've been very happy with it, but it is only a standard definition camcorder, and it's not really fantastic in low light conditions. So when I was looking for a new camera, of course, one of the most important things is a decent price, because HD cameras can get up there to thousands of dollars. But what I was looking for was a well-priced camera that, number one, was HD. Number two, that was good in low light. And number three, if I could find something with some slow motion capability, that would be an added bonus. And this fit the bill. So we'll go ahead and unbox this and see what we get. I'm still testing out this Leatherman, which I did an unboxing and quick review of. And by the way, it now locks up properly. Oh, no, it doesn't. See, it missed. So still has a lockup problem. Anyway, this is not a review on this knife, but we'll go ahead and open it. And see what comes with this. We have our Sony limited warranty, and we have a propaganda catalog here of all the other ways we could spend our money. This looks like maybe a quick start guide? I don't know. Let's see. This is notes on SD memory cards. Oh, by the way, an added bonus to this, which I like, is that it uses standard SD cards. A lot of you already know that Sony products tend to use those Sony sticks. Not a big fan of proprietary things, so that would have actually kept me from buying this. But I saw that it was using the standard SD cards now, so I will consider Sony products again. More propaganda to spend your money. The CD, we'll see what kind of neat software it looks like. Hopefully it has some editing software we could play with. And the real thick instructions. And finally, we have some cables, composite cables. And the power supply, the other part of the power supply, the plug, more composite cables. This is a USB and a USB cord, and this is the battery. And what else? And this is probably the camera. So let's take a look at that. Here's what it looks like. Let me move the box out of the way because I'm making a lot of noise with it. And we'll take a first look. Now that's a nice guard there. Let me light this up. See if I get the light on. Now, by the way, this doesn't have a light. I'm kind of worried about that, but it's supposed to be really good in low light. One of the things, lights on camcorders really have very limited use unless you have something really close up to the camera. The little LEDs they put on these camcorders really don't do much good other than deplete your battery quicker. So we'll I guess we need to charge this up so we could do a comparison. What I'm going to do in this video is, once I get this charged up, we'll go ahead and do a side-by-side comparison of some videos and see how it stacks up, and see how I will hopefully even be improving the Gear Obsession channel. Okay, I basically have both cameras on side by side, and so I'm sort of simultaneously taping the standard definition on the FS300 by Canon and the Sony, and I gotta get used to saying it, the HDR-CX110. And you know, looking at the screens, I could tell that the HD looks brighter, but I mean, you can't really go by the viewfinder. Now, let's see. Now, by the way, everything's set up for both cameras where they're automatic everything. It's the standard settings out of the box right now. Now, I'm going to turn off the big bright light. And it looks like, looking at the screens, that the Sony is doing great. I mean, it's nice and bright. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the big overhead light. And wow, I mean, the light from the screen is still illuminating on the Sony, where at least you could sort of make me out, and the old standard definition is really having a hard time. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the screen here on the HD, find the slow motion mode, or not the slow motion mode, I'm sorry, I'm going to try to find the low light mode and see how well it does with that. Okay, now I have the low light mode set up on the new HD camera, and now we'll see the old standard definition. That's what it looks like. And back to the low light mode, low lux mode on the Sony. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold something up without any backlight back here in front of the lens to see how well it can handle something close and then heavily backlighted. Now in the standard definition, it just practically blacks out unless I turn the light on the camera. So normally I would have to hit this button and then it sort of lights it up. Now on the Sony, what's amazing is that it's like the light from the LCD screen is practically lighting it up. Oh, turn that off. So that's pretty neat, and you can see I can get pretty close. Really good close-up capability. And you can see how my face looks out of focus, so it's doing a good job focusing on that really close. Now the last thing I'm going to do is go ahead and play with the slow motion. I got to figure out how we can check that out. It's absolutely amazing now. I found some downsides to it. I don't want to make it sound like it's all, you know, roses and perfect. No camera is, especially when it's not considered a very high price one. One thing is to get in and change settings, like go ahead and turn on the low lux setting or go in and turn on the slow motion. The menu system's a little awkward. The ease of use is probably not as great as the old Canon was. It would have been nice if they had a button on the side to kick in the slow motion or the low light, or both. It would have really made this the perfect camera for me. But you know, you can't have everything for a value type of camera, and I'm really digging here. So what I've read in Consumer Reports about this camera is pretty much spot on. I would say the low light is better than what they said it was, but they did, you know, I think the review was for one model behind the 100. This is the 110, so maybe they got the low light going a little better now. But absolutely amazing camera. So in the future, most of my videos will be HD, so you can see my ugly mug so much clearer and make your day. So with that, you know, I don't want to rate an out-of-box experience. Well, you could see how the auto exposure there sort of, see how it, you know, I have all this white, so it made the rest dimmer there, which happens on all autofocus. But you could set for spot. So it would just do a spot. By the way, I turned off the facial thing so it's not exposing on my face. It's doing it overall because that's the way I'm going to be using it for now, because I can't have it, you know, do all kinds of weird stuff on me. Kind of neat. Anyway, you know, I don't like rating it right out of the box and everything, but, you know, to give it a out-of-box rating and experience, I would give it a... this is a tough one. You know, I want to say 8 or a 9 out of 10. I'll give it a 8 out of 10, which is very good for me for cameras, because you know, I've been into photography for a very long time, and that's a excellent rating. The issues is the ease of use, but again, you know, as I use the camera and everything, I'll become more accustomed to its controls and be able to manipulate it better. By the way, the zoom on here is, I'm going to have to read it off the camera. is 25 times optical zoom, so it's a very good optical zoom. I think it has a 1.8, yep, 1.8 Carl Zeiss lens on it, and I'll tell you, I highly recommend this camera so far. Based on the out-of-box experience, I don't want you to put too much weight on this review. As we use the camera and everything, I could probably better assess a truer review of this, but overall on the interweb, great reviews, and I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, I'm just rambling, just wasting your time, and I don't want to be one of them people doing, you know, huge videos. I try to keep them short. Anyway, this is the last video of 2010, and I would like to wish every viewer, subscriber, and friend, and your families a very healthy, wealthy, and happy new year. And have a great year.